She could feel her grandmother's disapproval settle into her bones right then. She would slip away thinking that Frankie couldn't find a single man out of billions to settle down with. None of her professional success mattered, not to a woman from her generation. There had been times during college where her grandmother wouldn't even look at her if she didn't have a boyfriend. The rest of the family laughed it off as a quirk, but it felt like a weapon to Frankie. Could you just pretend for my grandmother? She just laid out all her pride on the table right then. She had no use for it anymore. She's dying. Ted bit his lip. He really thought that dumping her was funny. It was probably the right decision to break up with her, because she was going to kill Ted if she had to look at him for too much longer. Frankie, I just think we want different things. But you said you wanted a wife! Definitely yelling in the almost empty restaurant because several of the servers and the bartender looked up from their side work. That's when she noticed that she and Ted were not the last couple, diners, in the restaurant. Something in her brain must have skipped over the tall, handsome, red-haired man in the corner, because if she'd seen him, she wouldn't have been worried about getting engaged that night. She would have been the one who broke up with Ted if she'd seen him next to Cary George, her favorite mistake. Even though she'd just humiliated herself by demanding a proposal from a guy who was clearly dumping her, she watched the way Cary's elegant fingers adjusted his black-rimmed glasses, the way the veins in his forearms flexed with the motion, the quirk of his mouth that told her that he'd been watching the whole interchange. And then the man across from him turned and grimaced at her. His dark hair and blue eyes tore a hole in her decorum even bigger than the one she'd ripped a few minutes ago.